Today on the Waine Train, we're going to look to stay on top of the Premier League when we host Manchester City at Home Park. But before then, it's our first European game, and it's in the Champions League, a trip to Belgium to take on Royal Antwerp. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 33 of the Waine Train here on Sean Does FM with Plymouth Argyle. I hope you're doing well and came up to date. As I said, we start off with our first game in the Champions League, our first European game here at Plymouth Argyle. We do take on Royal Antwerp, and off the back of that, a big Premier League clash as we look to stay on top of the table when we do host Manchester City. So if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But in yesterday's episode, we did play both Everton and Liverpool prior to transfer deadline day in the Premier League, and also showed you guys how we just got by Hull City in our first game in the EFL Cup. So if you missed that episode, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Did do a little bit of business as well on transfer deadline day, so it might be worth a watch at the very end at least. Off the back of that, we have just played one game since then, a game we should have won more comfortably, but thankfully we left it late, but got the job done 1-0 at Brentford. As I said, and as you'll see shortly, a game where we were well and truly on the front foot, but it took us until late on and going all out attack to pick up the winner. Salawi off of the bench, one of his first games since coming back from that injury that he suffered in pre-season. He comes on and picks up a crucial goal in the 88th minute. To be fair, coming on for Urinkunda, who yet again did a really good job starting this game. He's an absolute chance magnet for us here currently at Plymouth Argyle, but it was Salawi off the bench who did pick up the goal to make sure we picked up a 1-0 win, as you can tell by that XG match story as well as the overall stats. Definitely a game that we should have won more comfortably and got the job done sooner, but thankfully it's 3 more points in the Premier League. So far, unbeaten this season at Plymouth Argyle, top of the Premier, albeit joint these days with Chelsea, 3 points further back to Arsenal and Tottenham. And second up in today's episode, we take on a Manchester City team who, to be fair, have been a little bit up and down to start the season. They are down in 6th, only on 8 points. If we can pick up a decent result there, things do get quite a bit easier in the Premier League off the back of that, because already we would have taken on Liverpool, Tottenham, Spurs and City. Chelsea's coming up in a little while. That's probably what we're going to be coming back for in tomorrow's episode. But off the back of that, a decent run of fixtures, or a decent stretch of time anyway, where we should be picking up quite a few points based on our early season form. So hopefully we can take something there off of Manchester City in that second game of today's episode, especially as it is at Home Park, and seeing as they have just been a little bit up and down to start the season. But before then, it's a big moment for us here at Plymouth Argyle, our first game in a European competition, and it does happen to be the Champions League off the back of just sneaking in because of the coefficient for our 5th place finish in the Prem last season. We take on Royal Antwerp, these guys currently top of the Jupiter Pro League, but to be fair, not much else we can read into these guys because I don't have the Belgian league loaded up as being playable for this save. But this should be a game, even though it is away from home, where we can pick up 3 points to start off life in the Champions League, and also hopefully can get the Waine Train a goal in his Champions League debut. That'll be one of the big missions of this save, ticked off nice and early, and a good chance also off the back of that City game for him to get the job done with a goal as we take on Olympiacos as well, with that one also being away from home. But it's a quite kind start for us in the Champions League this season. Also in terms of injuries, there's not too many, just the same ones we had going into yesterday's episode. Balumi and Mosquera, they are still out for a little while. And also in terms of squad registration, actually didn't realise before the sales were made, we got below the 8 homegrown nation players, so that was a bit of an issue. It does mean that Sebastian Hausner and Balumi are unregistered, as well as our new right back cover that we did get in on loan. And that, just got to remember his name because so far he hasn't featured too much for us here, but that is Diogo Spencer, who we did get in on loan from Benfica. So those are the players not registered for the Champions League. Balumi in particular, that could change once he does recover from that broken lower leg, but it does mean he'll be missing pretty much for the entire league phase of this Champions League. So we'll evaluate things off the back of that. But thankfully, you can go into this first game of the Champions League with a pretty close to full strength team, and we'll come back shortly and hopefully start life off in the Champions League with 3 points in Belgium. And here are the team sheets for our first game in the Champions League here at Plymouth Argyle. Unfortunately, I need to talk over the music because last year when I didn't do that, it was going to be a copyright strike, but they are Royal Antwerp going with a 4-2-3-1. Here we are, pretty close to full strength, just Farias out there on left wing because Sarawi still making his way back from injury, but thankfully can put out an extended bench, so it does mean lots of options that we can use if players do get tired. But a big chance for us here to get off to a perfect start in the Champions League, pick up 3 points nice and early, even though we're away from home. And very early on here, we do have a highlight potentially in our favour. It's a throw in down that far side, our left-hand one. Gutierrez puts that into the mixture, and Alex Scott starts to run forward, tries to put that one into the back of net. Would have been a great individual goal, but unfortunately straight at De Wolf, and it does stay 0 early. And just making our way now past the 10-minute mark and down the other end here for a free kick to Royal Antwerp, but thankfully good diving here there from Ousmane Diamonde to get that one away. And now Iliev plays a nice ball down that left-hand side for Facundo. Farias just makes his way inside the box, does a man there, tight angle, the ball gets blocked, then falls to Iliev. He gets off a header, but unfortunately can't quite find its way into the back of net, blocked it again. So some good defence there from Antwerp, but so far looks like we're on the front foot, but still 0. And about 10 minutes on from that previous highlight, now we are back down the end where we were for that previous free kick to Antwerp, but yet again do look to move forward as we get the ball early into the opposition half, albeit poor pass there, and Antwerp might get a chance, but thankfully Gutierrez there does get that ball back for us, and we can build from the back. Parola will pick out Diamonde. Had a pretty good start to life here at Plymouth Argyle up until yesterday's episode where he was a little bit iffy, but thankfully we did pick up 3 points in that Liverpool game pretty much entirely because of the efforts of the Waine Train with that late second half double, but thankfully keeping the ball here, and Diamonde shifts that one on to Alex Scott. They try and play a nice ball over the top there, and it does find Farias, puts that one in for Iliev, who will beat the goalkeeper at the near post. He will score the first goal for us at Plymouth Argyle in the Champions League, and he makes it 1-0. And to be fair, based on the highlights we've seen so far, that is deserved. Really nice ball that from Alex Scott to just get him behind the defence and set up Farias, who will get the assist, and then Iliev bangs that one away at the near post and gives us a 1-0 lead. And yet again, a highlight here starting deep within our own half as Tobias will take a free kick and play it out to our defenders, but yet again it does look like here we might be getting on the attack. So far all the highlights have been in our favour. Facundo Farias starts to cut inside after setting up that first goal off the back of a nice ball from Alex Scott. Now the Waine Train does get in behind, good chance for him there to grab his first goal in the Champions League, but unfortunately good save there from De Wolf, and it goes on to the woodwork, and it does stay 1-0 just shy of half-time. Hopefully now the Waine Train can pick up his first goal in Europe as we have a throw-in inside of the final third. They clear it there to Antwerp, but thankfully Diamonde is there to get us back on the attack. Alex Scott goes back there to Diamonde, starts to make his way down this right-hand side. Interesting, playing like a right-back he is here, plays that one back to our right-back in Serginho Dest. Now Som, that ball, an absolute mess in the mixer, and Nikola Iliev will put that one away. Not too sure if the Waine Train there could have had a chance to get that shot off, but unfortunately he doesn't. But Nikola Iliev will pick up a first half double, and that makes it 2-0. Very interesting to see there that Liverpool beating Real Madrid 4-0. That's quite good form for us because we beat Liverpool, of course, in yesterday's episode, but that was a bit of a mess inside the box. The Waine Train could have got a shot off there, but thankfully the ball falls to Iliev, a big chance, and he puts that one away. We're now making our way into the last 5 minutes before halftime, and it looks like we'll be taking a 2-0 lead, which is very nice. Hopefully that does mean we can take some players off. We're a little bit tired because that Man City game is only a few days off the back of this, and currently we are in the middle of quite a busy stretch of football here at Plymouth Argyle, considering also taking part in the early stages of the EFL Cup. So I think what we might do here actually is just check on some players, and there are a couple on slightly yellower hearts than others. So because of that, Miguel Gutierrez, he can come off for Christensen, one of our new signings from Leicester City, and also Tom Bischoff can come on for Alex Scott. Played well, but is a player who can get a bit more tired than our other players in the squad of notice so far in his early days here at Plymouth Argyle. So 2 subs at halftime, and hopefully we can kick on and pick up 3 points. An early free kick here to Samardzic, and it finds its way into the back of net to start off the second half. That is an absolute screamer, but hard to actually see that one go in from the angle, which did get shown, but Samardzic with a wonderful free kick. The replay angle is absolutely terrible. Sack the director off, but that's a wonderful goal to start off the second half. We go 3-0 up against Royal Antwerp. And very shortly off the back of that stunning free kick goal there to Samardzic, a couple of other players are down to slightly deep yellow hearts. As I said, with City coming up in the league, we'll play things safe. So coming on at right back today, John Buckley, because we did discover a few episodes ago he can play there, and also will take off Simon Som for Adam Randall with that 3-0 lead. And off the back of just doing that, there is a thrown in our favour, and Buckley is that right back. Will take that one. Obviously, with that injury to Mosquera, who is registered for the Champions League, does mean we're a little bit light in that position. To Buckley at the moment is our extra cover there. So hopefully he can do a decent job, especially in situations like this where we are in a pretty comfortable position with a 3-0 lead. But the Royal Antwerp try and clear their lines. Thankfully, we do get it back. Hopefully, can find a way here to get the Waine Train a goal. Then we can take him off and save him up for that City game. But definitely want to give him a chance here to score a goal. But instead, Facundo Farias will get one to go alongside his assist for the first one that we did score through Nicola Ilieve. He bangs that one top right corner and makes it 4-0, and that well and truly should be game over, even though there are still 35 minutes left. Tom Bischoff, nice ball there to Christensen. He will pick up an assist in his first Champions League game. I think that will be, at least for a little while anyway, since he's been playing at Leicester City recently, but well in control here in our Champions League debut as we go 4-0 up. And just making our way into the last 20 minutes of this game, there is a free kick here which De Wolf will take for Antwerp, but Diamande, good work there in the air, and heads that one forward to the Waine Train. Can he pick up a goal? Before we might have to consider taking him off with that City game in mind, but that's a shocking tackle there on Adam Randall. Hopefully that's not an injury, but it's a straight red card there for Schönatz, I believe is how you might pronounce that one, but that does mean now we are well and truly safe in this game, playing against 10 men for the last 15 minutes. But I think we've given the Waine Train here enough time to try and score a goal. We do want him to feature in that second game today, that big one against City. So because of that, we'll take him off for Damien Pizarro. No doubt now he'll probably score because he's playing against 10 men, but that's our last sub as we're still 4-0 up with 15 minutes left. And just about to make our way into 3 minutes of added time in our first game in the Champions League here at Plymouth Argyle. And to be fair, as somewhat expected, it has been a bit of a cakewalk despite the fact it has been away from home. 2 goals in both halves. The first half it was the double to Nicola Ilieve, then a stunning free kick early in the second half to Zamardzic, and Facundo Farias grabbed one with 35 minutes left. Unfortunately, couldn't get the Waine Train a goal, but hopefully that won't take him too long before he can score a goal in European football. It's just his debut, of course, in a European competition, but that is a pretty solid one for us here at Plymouth Argyle to get underway. To be fair, a game you'd expect us to win against the team who I think were pot 4 or maybe pot 3, but we do have a kind start to life in the Champions League. Thankfully, we make the most of it and pick up a 4-0 win, unless anything happens in between now and our second game in today's episode. We'll come back shortly and get stuck into a big Premier League clash where we take on Manchester City. And we are back trying to stay on top of the Premier League here at Home Park as we take on Manchester City. Now, a couple of changes from that first game because quite a few players are tired with our heavy recent workload. Spencer gets a debut at right back, also Randall in the ball wing midfield role, and both our wingers are changed in Morgan Whittaker, and Sarawi gets a start here in place of Facundo Farias. So a couple of changes, but still a pretty strong team. Man City also going with a strong lineup, but hopefully we can pick up something from this game and stay close to the top of the table. And it hasn't taken too long for the first proper highlight of this game. There was an earlier highlight where Erling Haaland did get a chance, but he was offside, and Tobias did come up with a good save. But free kick here to City as they try and make their way out from the back. But good work there from Parola. Heads that one forward to Illy of the Waine Train there. You'd think that's a foul, but it's not. I've seen a couple of those in FM24. They do look a lot like fouls, but don't get blown up, which is interesting. But thankfully, we are still on the attack here, and Iliev squares that one for the Waine Train. Does eventually get a chance, but unfortunately, one of the City defenders there does put on a good block. De Bruyne heads that one backwards, but thankfully, the highlight stops. But early stages, 0-0, and a pretty even game. But now we make our way just past the 10-minute mark, and City had a chance there to do something on the counter-attack, but thankfully Parola gets that ball before Haaland can, and Sarawi tries to curve that one bottom right corner. Now, interestingly, the Waine Train is down there. It's not a red injury, thankfully, not going to be forced into taking him off, but it might not be a bad idea because, of course, last season he was very, very injury prone. I don't think we want to risk it, so Pizarro can come on for him early. Unfortunately, that's the end of the Waine Train in today's episode, but 0-0 just going past the 15-minute mark. And there's been a distinct lack of action since the Waine Train has gone off, but eventually about 10 minutes shy of half-time, there is another highlight of City there, do have a thrown down the right-hand side, and Serge Gnabry does get in behind Sarawi, of course still coming back from injury, so just managing his workload a little bit, as well as the fact is that Rinkunda has been great for us. Now, chance for us there, didn't actually catch who that was, but I think the shot might have got deflected, and Tobias has actually come up there with a very good save to keep it at 0-0. The corner they put far post, but thankfully Spencer will clear that one away. Whittaker can't do anything on the counter-attack. Still 0-0, albeit yet again here City are back on the attack just shy of halftime. 3 players there try and get that ball for us, including Randall on a yellow card, but unfortunately can't quite secure it. So City do get another chance here to launch an attack, and Haaland does slightly get in behind. Unfortunately, Diamonde there tries to stop that one like they did to Waine down the other end earlier. We can't do it. It's a good finish from Haaland, who puts that one away to make it 1-0. And City have been getting on the front foot in the latter part of the first half in this game, but unfortunately, they do make it 1-0. Thought their Diamonde could have blocked that one, but unfortunately, it's a well-timed shot that from Haaland. Just gets around both the defender and Tobias in goal inside of that right-hand post. And unfortunately, 1-0 down here, it looks like, going into halftime unless something happens in these 3 minutes of added time. It doesn't. And we might be forced here into a couple of changes as well, with Randall on that yellow card, and also Spencer did pick up an orange injury late, quite similar to the Waine Train. Now, unfortunately, I didn't put Serginho Dest on the bench, despite the fact that he's definitely a better right back than John Buckley. That's a bit of a balls up from me, but Buckley has to come on. He's our only guy on the bench who can cover right back. Hopefully that won't prove too costly. And also we're going to bring on Simon Som, not Tom Bischoff, or Adam Randall on that yellow card. So we're a bit stronger in the midfield. Not too sure about defence, seeing as John Buckley's covering right back for us. Hopefully that doesn't prove costly. We can come from behind here and grab something as we 1-0 down against City at home park. And 10 minutes into the second half, the first highlight here is a throw in our favour down our left-hand side. Gutierrez, he will pick out Iliev. Long-range effort that one, but unfortunately had a bit too much on it. It goes over the bar, and we're still trailing 1-0. And not too off the back of that previous chance to Iliev, now it's a throw in down the other side, which Buckley will take. So far doing a solid job for us at right back, which is nice, albeit poor pass there from Som, but thankfully, rather fortunately, we do get that one back, so can stay inside here of the Man City half, albeit they are putting pressure on us here at the back. Hopefully we play things smart and do keep hold of the ball. Parola taking some time there on the ball, but plays that one back to Tobias. Now it goes out to Diamonde and up to Simon Som. Now Whittaker plays a nice ball over the top there for Pizarro. Squares it for Nikola Iliev. We'll just have to wait and see here if he was onside, because that did look like a close call, but hopefully that goal is going to stand and we can make it 1-1. And indeed that is the case. While we're here, we will take off Sarawi down to a red heart for Nestri Irinkunda. That could be a big late sub as well, because he's been so far an absolute chance magnet here at Plymouth Argyle this season. But thankfully, with still a half hour left in this game, we do grab an equaliser. Our strikers linking up, and Iliev scores his third goal in today's episode and makes it 1-1 against City. And only a few minutes off the back of that goal, and that second to last sub where Irinkunda came on, now we're going to make our last one. Alex Scott yet again is down to a red heart. Tom Bischoff will come on for him. And only a couple of minutes off the back of that final sub, yet again a throw down that right-hand side, which John Buckley will take. Hopefully this one ends in a similar way to that previous highlight where Iliev did score, but unfortunately City did get their ball back. Great work there from Gutierrez, and now we are back on the attack. Iliev to John Buckley in that unfamiliar right back role, plays it to Whittaker, squares it for Nikola Iliev, who puts that one home. Yet again we're waiting for a VAR check, but we might come from behind here at halftime to take a 2-1 lead against City, and this would be another huge result to start the season if we could have held on to it, but it won't be an issue because unfortunately that one does get ruled out for offside. Buckley playing this ball forward to Whittaker, who's just a straight offside, unfortunately, so the goal won't stand, and it's still 1-1 with only 15 minutes left. And in fact, there's another highlight here, yet again a throw down that right-hand side. Buckley actually doing a really good job for us so far at right back. Now, Tom Bischoff tries to curve that one top left corner and forces a pretty good save there out of Edison, so a chance for us there yet again to take a 2-1 lead, but so far second half, we're actually playing pretty darn well. Now, a corner, and Irinkunda does pick out Parola at the near post, the chance magnet, but unfortunately that one yet again saved by Edison, who's getting busy late in this game. So hopefully we can finish over the top here of Man City. Irinkunda yet again, he will take the corner, but this time does look far post. Edison will claim that one. Still 1-1, but now in the last 10 minutes. And we're now inside the last 5 minutes of this game, still 1-1, but certainly in the second half, putting the pressure on City late, especially those last couple of highlights since Irinkunda did come on from set piece, but that's a poor touch there from Bischoff. And now Serge Gnabry might get a chance to pinch this one late for City. Squares that one for Erling Haaland, but thankfully Parola with a big block to keep it at 1-1. Unfortunately, nothing happening from the highlight off the back of that where Irinkunda was trying to get us on the counter-attack. 4 minutes of added time. Hopefully we can at least hold on for a draw, because I think we definitely deserve that from this game. But City do have a corner. They float that one into the mix a bit. Thankfully Tobias can claim that. We'll see if we can do something down the other end as we're about to enter the last 2 minutes of added time. Unfortunately, City are quite high press on the goalkeeper, so he's going to pump this one deep. And unfortunately, Ruben Dias gets that ball back before Iliev, and Erling Haaland here is in behind. Might have been offside. He wasn't, so thankfully Erling Haaland there rather really does miss the target, and it looks like this one might finish 1-1.
Yeah.
But that could be a late dagger blow. Lorenzo Parola injured because of that, and the fact we've got no subs left. We're just going to have to shuffle around things here a little bit late, just to try and make sure that we do hold on, at least pick something up from this game. So bear with me while I pretty much make us play a defensive 4-4-1 here. Not really too sure which players are best suited to what positions at this point, but we'll make it a 4-4-1 and put close to everyone on to defend as well, and just see if that will help us hold on for a draw in this game. As you can see, second half in particular, well and truly on the front foot there, and even based on the XG match story overall, that's probably a game that we could have won. We had some good chances late to try and make it 2-1, including that goal that did get ruled out through Nikola Iliev. Yet again, was looking for a double, but thankfully his strike 20 minutes into the second half does cancel out that late first half one to Erling Haaland, and we are still undefeated in the Premier League this season. Not a bad effort at all here for us at Plymouth Argyle, considering some other teams that we have faced inside the first month and a bit in the league. So it does mean we'll stay up near the top of the Premier League, albeit Chelsea do go above us, but still off the back of a pretty tough first 6 games. That's not a bad place to be at all. Second on the Prem, off the back of a 1-1 draw at home park against Manchester City. So continuing a decent start to the season here at Plymouth Argyle, especially as I said in the Premier League, considering some of the fixtures that we have had early against some big teams like Man United, Liverpool, as well as City. To still be unbeaten and in second place is a pretty good position to be in, and also, of course, picked up a win in our first Champions League game. Before we do wrap things up, though, for today's episode, as you can see there, 3 players who picked up injuries in that most recent game. We'll just see how long these guys are out for. First up, Diogo Spencer. Thankfully, that one's not too bad, only 7 days to 2 weeks. It does now mean that John Buckley, definitely the backup right back for us for a little bit longer, but thankfully Mosquera not too far away from his injury as well. I can see there those other injuries, thankfully not too bad as well. Parola, that could have been a major one, only out for 7 to 10 days. That's quite relieving. Does mean he might miss our next 2 games, that Champions League one against Olympiacos and also Sheffield United. But those aren't bad games to miss, to be fair, because Sheffield United are bottom of the Premier League. And of course, we did also take off the Waine Train as a precaution early. Thankfully, just a tight calf. He might even be fit enough for our second game in the Champions League, where hopefully he can score his first European goal. But it does mean we are second in the Premier League and pick up 3 points from our opening game in the Champions League off the back of today's episode. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. Off the back of today's episode, I think we can start to progress through the season just a little bit quicker. Next up, as I said, a couple of games which do look on paper a bit easy. Olympiacos, even though that's away in the Champions League, and second bottom of the league. Thought they were bottom, but Sheffield United, that one at home park, should be very winnable. Then we have quite a big break before our next game. Actually looks like it's almost a month for some reason. Must be a long international break. But then we take on West Ham, that one also at home park. Hopefully can win that one, and we'll come back for quite a big double. Our first real test in the Champions League at home park, our first European game at home park when we take on RB Leipzig. And before then, we go to Stamford Bridge for what could be a top-of-the-table Premier League clash, as we do take on a Chelsea team at a venue we've had quite a bit of success at so far in the save. So a decent doubleheader coming up in tomorrow's episode in mid-October. Chelsea in the Prem and RB Leipzig in the Champions League. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.